Welcome to Global Risk Community Chat. Today our guest is Jacob Mathew. I'm very happy to have you here today, Jacob. Welcome.
Thank you, Issy. It's great to be here. Thank you very much.
Likewise, we really appreciate your presence here today. So before we get into the topic, can you introduce yourself to our audience?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm a 25-year-old, I'm a 25-year experienced IT professional. I've been in UAE for the last 24 years. And before that, I was working in Saudi. And I have expertise in a number of areas, including information security, physical security, and also setting up new offices, setting up new infrastructure, and things like that. In terms of information security, I have valid CISSP certification, CGUIDE, then I have TOGAF, which is the architecture, and a lot of ton more certifications. So all I'm working overall into IT, I have a big passion for information security. I believe strongly in the importance of cybersecurity, and that's why I'm on this podcast.
Thank you for sharing that as well. I hear a very vast experience, also vast in years, as well as on the industry or the field as well. So with that being said, what topic you like to share with us today? Of course, I hear that you are very passionate on security, cybersecurity, infrastructure security, but what would you like to share today specifically?
Yeah, thank you, Issy. So I would like to talk about end user awareness, security awareness. And as you know, our interview was scheduled for last month, and October, as you know, is the end user cybersecurity awareness month, because a lot of companies and organizations can spend a lot of money in having the greatest and the best infrastructure, configurations, get it audited, internally audited, externally audited. And large companies, we have so many audits. I think every month there's some audit going on, which is all great. So the audit ensures that we have correct controls and it's correctly configured. But I think the most important part of that, which I think we can work together in the industry, is to raise the awareness. So I salute the US, where I think in 2004, the president started the Cyber Security Awareness Month in October, because I think that's really crucial to have that in place. So that's what I want to talk about. So um, well, in what happens is a lot of companies we have, because of the nature of the industry the company is in, or because of the laws and regulations of the land, there would be cybersecurity awareness. So everybody, when somebody joins, they have to sign a form. So there's a lot of tick marks being done. I've done cybersecurity, I've done ticks. But is it really, we need to examine and see, is it really efficient? Is that really something that the staff can remember and practically apply it? So instead of sitting for boring lectures or just watching some videos, I think we need to really engage the end users into cybersecurity, so and understand it's not just for the corporate. So if they actively participate, they're not just protecting their company, but they're also helping to protect their home, the household, their children, the spouse. So we need to stress that, and that's why the awareness of cybersecurity is really important, especially in the top management. Again, that's one more thing I say, that the cyber security is wherever it's done at like managerial and below. The top management say we are very busy. Actually, the awareness should be more at the top, and because they are ones who are subjected to phishing attacks, targeted, a lot of targets. So they are the ones who need to be really coached and trained on how to deal and detect cybersecurity issues.
I actually really like the fact that you talked about not only on a company level security awareness, but on a more personal level, also you know, as maybe a person working in a company, but also outside of the company as a normal day-to-day living human being. So that's,
Correct.
I think, very important. So I appreciate that you mentioned that. So what we can do on a personal level to, you know, like what would be some key things or certain takeaways that we can do on a personal level to make sure that, you know, we are doing well in terms of cybersecurity and, you know, that we are secure enough as much as it can get at least.
Yeah, so I think that's a very good question, you see, because we have children, and these days all our children have internet access. Thanks to COVID, it's no longer possible to restrict our children from internet access. So what we could do is really awareness, make them. We can implement firewalls. We can implement other solutions at home. So I use proxy filters, which can filter out not proper websites. But however, end of the day, it's the awareness, is the risk to understand what could happen. And these days, every day or every second day, there's some breach, something that happens everywhere, every nook and corner of the world. So some of it pertains to personal data and personal lives, and we can explain the risk and exposure these incidents have taken place and the importance of following best cybersecurity practices.
And what would be some best practices to raise this awareness on a personal level? Like, are we like going to educate our children at school with it, for example, or what should be done?
Yeah, so I think we need to target children at schools and colleges because sometimes the parents may not be all that up to speed with in terms of technology. So I think the children should be targeted, and we need to instill good cybersecurity hygiene and make sure that they don't be careful of where they use their personal IDs and restrict personal data, and also to look at the mobile devices, look at how they secure the devices, and make sure that the USBs or anything they use is clean, and they don't allow untrusted, unknown people to befriend them in social media, because that's a lot of things that happen.
Thank you for sharing that as well. I imagine for a lot of our audience that are parents, this is actually very valuable as well to look into right away. Is there anything else you would like to share? Anything that you want to add?
Yeah, I think the last thing I would talk about, I think I want to add is about the culture of cybersecurity. So we need to inbuild that as a culture, whether in the companies. So we look at cybersecurity not at the last minute when there's an audit coming. Oh, where are we with security? Let's look. But instead, look at cybersecurity at the drawing board. So we ensure that it's well thought of, well governed. At the personal level, also, it's very important that everybody, the spouse, the parents, the children, and especially even our grandparents and the other family, friends, and elderly people, that they are not target, because I've heard of a lot of scams where they target elderly people because they may be staying alone. So I think a culture of cybersecurity, of instilling whatever we do, to look at it, to make sure that we are not exposing ourselves unnecessarily, to make sure that we follow basic cybersecurity, and also to ask if for example, my 88-year-old dad has a question. He asked me, is this okay? Is this fine? So we could always ask around, especially at elderly and young children.
Thank you for sharing that as well. And with that being said, unfortunately, we have run out of our time for today. So I want to thank you so much for joining our chat once again today, and yeah, sharing this very crucial information. I think that is, also in a very personal level that we can all look into and make sure that we are using internet safely, our data is safe and everything. So thank you.
Thank you very much, AC. It's been a pleasure. Thank
Have a
you.
lovely day.